One. All right, welcome everybody to another edition of Lupus Talks. My name is Ed Peterson, and I'm just super excited for today's show. Ladies and gentlemen, we're on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. I'm sorry, YouTube Live. And you can check us out on our website at lupusinnevada.org. We have Calvinia Williams and Miss Dolores Olson. The two, I call it two dynamic duos who'll be sharing lupus information for those who are suffering from lupus and for those family members who have members that are with lupus, how to address and deal with that, and as well as what's going on currently in the country about lupus and what can be done to just live a normal lifestyle. And so they're going to be sharing with you today on these topics and things of that nature. If you guys have any questions or inquiries, you can always go to the website at lupusinevada.org and check us out. And you can also go to our Facebook page and as well as this YouTube channel, Lupus in Nevada. So, giving up to that, I'm just super thankful for Dr. Williams and her commitment to sharing with you on a regular, consistent basis. This is done every Tuesday at 2 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, and of course, 5 o'clock p.m. on the East Coast. And so, with that being said, I want to switch it over to Calvin Williams. Take it away.
Hi, everyone. I hope all are well, are doing well. I'd like to thank everyone for being a part of this show. Remember to click and save this so you can share with others, or you can go on our other YouTube. Remember also, the more you click on this, the more you share with others, the more you can see us, and the more we can stay on. So I'd like to thank you for joining us. We're going to be talking, I talk all the time about lupus because of my lupus and your lupus, that autoimmune disease. I want to connect today with Sjogren's because I have that. The doctor just diagnosed me with that. And some people say, well, what is it? It's nerve damage. Let me read it right here. Hold on. Okay. Sjogren's syndrome is an autoimmune disease that causes chronic dryness in your eyes, mouth, and other parts of your body. It does cause rheumatoid arthritis. It causes the joints. I shouldn't say rheumatoid, but it causes my achy joints to hurt. And it's hard for me to move around. But they said how you diagnose Sjogren's syndrome. The doctor will look at it with physical exam and symptom assessment. Blood tests to identify specific antibodies, eye tests to check tear production and eye damage. Well, I don't have that. Salivary gland tests to measure saliva production, and rheumatologists are responsible for diagnosing and managing this. This is a little nasty little thing that I'm getting ready to hit treatment. The diagnosis, it hurts. Like right now, I have to wear one of my shirts underneath me off my shoulder because it's a pain right on that, right on your shoulder bone that hurts. So it is, Sjogren's syndrome can be difficult to diagnose because the signs and symptoms vary from person to person and can be similar to those caused by other diseases. That's one thing. The side effects of a number of medications also mimic some signs and symptoms of Sjogren's syndrome. The doctor tests the levels of blood, types of blood, presence of the antibodies common in Sjogren's syndrome. He tests all of those and evidence of inflammatory conditions. And right now I am in a major inflammatory situation here. And I get to see my doctor. They're working on it now because they had told me he's so behind, it's 5 months. It's not going to happen like it did with the other hospitalization. They're working on it because I need to speak to a rheumatologist now because we got some issues going on here and I need to be able to address them. So that's what this is. That's what I'm suffering with. Those of you know that I talk about living with lupus all the time. And one of the things I talk about is just basic living, living that the kind of living that it's not in a book. It's a day-to-day thing that we have to go through, because lupus affects the brain, the nerves, the eyes, the lungs, the heart, the vessels. It also It also digestive system, joints, muscles, the bones, the skin, the blood. It can affect different organ systems and can cause symptoms that are unique for everyone. There are times when the disease is very active and when the disease is not. Even when your symptoms seem to be controlled, in some instances, your lupus may still be active. And that's one of the things with me. I thank God I don't have any organ damage, but what I do have is the aches and the pains, because it is lupus you can't contract with anyone. It's just, it is environmental waste, it's stress, and those factors there can turn on every switch in your body, and then you will have a problem with that, because I know I did. And that's what I'm doing now. And I hope not to be talking in circles with you guys, because being in pain, you tend to do that. So that's what that is. There are potential risks. Let me look at this. I'm having issues with this computer. So hold on. I'm having issues like Ed did. Okay. Well, I'll go to the next one. And I told you before I have fibromyalgia with that too. So fibromyalgia, is a condition that causes pain in muscles and soft tissues all over your body. So you can imagine having fibromyalgia, having Sjogren's, and having this lupus. We got problems. It's a widespread pain. The pain associated with fibromyalgia often is described as a constant dull ache, and that's what I have. I am getting my reference information off of John Hopkins, that information there. I have zoomed in on Microsoft Bing, and I just pulled it up so all of you know. But John Hopkins and Mayo Clinic are one of my main sources in dealing with the disease, period, the disorder. It's a muscle skeleton situation when it deals with fibromyalgia, the fatigue, the poor sleep, the quality associated with fibromyalgia can interfere with your ability to function at home on the job. It is very difficult for us that have this to try to function daily like the regular, the normal situation that we did years ago. Okay. And it's misunderstood as to say we're lazy. And that label right there does not set well with me at all. We're not lazy. It's just the disease. If we say we can't get up, if we say we've cooked dinner and they want us to put plates on the table, we can't do that. I mean, at least I can't. I've already cooked. I've already put my head up in that oven, baking something or whatever, and that heat consumed all my energy and everything. I've already done all that. So therefore, you need family to help you. So we all have to have that family person. To me, it's called the family factor. Everybody has a chore to do, especially for those of us who have these diseases that are running around, because if we end up in the hospital, they're not going to like that, because they're going to have to take time out of their schedule to come to the hospital to visit us, to sit up there for a couple hours, when it all could have been prevented by helping the person that's suffering from all these autoimmune diseases. Right now, I have Dolores Osteen on the line, and she's my co-host, and she's going to talk about the aspect of, anemia and the thyroid problem as well. Dolores, you want to take it away? Dolores, are you there? I think she got bumped off again. Ed, well, I guess I keep on going. I think she got bumped off again. I don't know. These computers are freezing and doing just what
Hello.
it wants. Okay, you there? I had said, take it away. You're going to be talking about anemia, and you're going to be talking about thyroid and how it's affected your health. So you take that away right now. Can you do it?
Yes, yes. And sorry about that. The mic is not doing too well like that. But I'm gonna go into I'm dealing with it's B12 anemia. With the B12 anemia, the symptoms wasn't. Then I'm gonna go into the unthyroid. The B12 anemia, the symptoms, you get weakness, you be very fatigued, very tired, you're extremely tired. Even when you wake up, you're still tired. And then at the
Yes.
end of the day, you're still tired. So it takes a big toll. You just feel and you feel very sluggish, just as in thyroid,
Mm-hmm.
because my
Mm-hmm.
thyroid is high. Now I had the combinations of both of them,
Mm-hmm.
and so the
Mm-hmm.
combination of both of them that dragged me down will drag me down really, really bad. Just like I'm waking up and I feel like a zombie or something. And then at the end of the day, same way, you're feeling like a zombie or something. You're feeling out of it. And that's how it goes when you have two combinations. But now, what I figure out for that, but now I'm this now because I'm treating that with a higher dose of B12. And now I'm going to the thyroid now. They had to adjust the levels. So I'm still adjusting to the new levels because I had the high thyroid problem that was over 200 and something. So that's why I said it's nothing but God that's watching over me, because that's a dangerous level. And I have been there. I've been there before. I know, probably had mentioned before, because I've been there about 4 times. It happened to me in my past, and that it was dangerous, that it could took my life, because it could put you through a mental state of mind, and you don't know why you're acting this way and acting that way, because that's exactly what happens with thyroidism, when you have thyroid problems like that. Especially with me, I'm operating without a thyroid, and that because I had cancer years ago, and so I'm living. That's why I had to take the medication for life, but just still have the thyroid problems, because you'll always have that thyroid problems.
How was it
But I just
identified?
say,
Dolores, if I may cut in, tell the audience how that was identified, that you had a thyroid problem, that you had cancer. How was it identified?
well, what they did when I was part of in my mid 20s and that, cause see, I had fainted, and so my younger daughter, she let my mom know that she was just young at the time, that that mom was on the floor that was watching. It was a miracle.
Okay. So when they identified it, they rushed you to the hospital, and that's when the doctor said, she has cancer of the thyroid. Is that what happened, or we're on tests, or what? I think her mic is acting up again, but I suspect they ran tests and everything. I suspect that, you know, on that thyroid. So when she comes back on, she'll be able to tell us about that. But she's been suffering with that, especially the dosage of medicine that she has to take. Mine fluctuates too, because I have to take a thyroid pill. And once I do that, to balance me out, it's very important. I'm going to have to take that for life. So how they identified me, again, with the blindness, the thyroid was acting up, but I went blind for 3 months. I lost my vision, where I was impaired. And being impaired, it was, it was just, it's just something to deal with. Let me stop this buzzer on this door. Okay, I'm sorry. Sorry, I had to stop. They got so many security things around this house, you know. So that's how I was. They found out what I had when I went blind, and with the vision impaired, and They didn't know when I was going to have my vision back in 3 months. That's not to say we don't like to put it in the air, but I'm very, very particular about my eyes right now. Very particular, because I know for a fact that the same things you had before can return, and I don't want that to return. So that's why I'm very, very cautious with my eyes. I see a doctor. I see an eye doctor twice a year rather than once a year, so we can see what's going on. They took me off of Plaquenil, and they took me off of prednisone. So the Plaquenil was the one that the eye doctor said to me. My doctor said, we kind of, we watch that, because that can create blindness as well. So I wasn't on Plaquenil when that occurred. So at this point, that's what happened to me, and that's how they determined my lupus. What was happening in terms of me totally not seeing anything, and being able to having to get off my job, having to turn my lifestyle around, and that's what I had to do. Had to turn it all around. not knowing what I was going to do, knowing that I had a little son that I had to take care of as a single parent. So there was a lot of things involved with that. And I know a lot of you that's listening and that will be watching go through this situation of, look, I have kids or I have a child. What am I going to do? I have this disease. It's keeping me from my job. Social Security is not enough, but I have to make it as best as I can. You know, you can't get food stamps because you make too much money. You make $1 or $2 over. So no food stamps for you. You just have to do what you have to do. And you make it. You get strong and you make it. And that's the key to any disease. You have to be strong enough to know that life will throw curveballs at you, but you have to be strong enough to say, hey, I'm going to stand up and I'm going to do what I need to do. I'm not the only one that's a single parent. I'm not the only one in the world that has a disease that, that is uncurable. There are some people running around here with we all have limited time, but they have cancer and have a lot of different other issues that are more devastating than mine. And I don't like to compare, but I always look at the situation that, someone else has something worse than I have. So be thankful that you're living. Be thankful that you can go on and tell other people about lupus and about fibromyalgia, discoid lupus. There's a lot of them. I have cutaneous lupus, where you get in the sun and you just blow up with all types of lesions on you. But I do want to say, with this disease, it's manageable for you if you eat right, you exercise, you keep the stress out your life. I mean, I know stress comes, but a lot of that stress can be just moved over to the side because you don't need that. You don't need that when family or friends come to you with something. Who said what? John, Ann, Mary. You don't need all of that. You back it. I back it away. I said, I'm not in that zone. I might have been in that zone in my younger days, but no, I'm 68 years old, 2 years from being 70. I don't have time for family gossip. And that's just the way it is. I have time to live and be thankful and help others that have lupus and direct them and guide them in areas that they may not have known anything about. I do want to say, though, this podcast is for you. It's for you. It makes me feel better, being able to be the host of it and sharing my thoughts and my life. But this podcast is yours. Come on here with ideas, with topics, and help us make it better every day. When I was diagnosed just recently with Sjogren's disorder, that was wow. That was like, what are you talking about? Every time I come to you guys, I've got another disorder, because, dry eyes, dry mouth. I didn't have that. I still don't have it, but I have the joints, the aches, the pain. One of the main things, as I said before, when they said that I had, what is it? Not man-made, but I was drug-induced. That's what they said. That's the key. That's the word, drug-induced. I was very upset behind that because if you're drug-induced, especially with lupus, it seems like it could go away, but this did not go away, So I'm like, okay, how do I trust my doctors? What questions do I ask? What other things, when I go in my doctor's office, I'm wondering, what else are they going to do to me? What else are they going to tell me I have? Am I going to be able to live the life I need to live? These are all areas that we are concerned about. Every time we go into the doctor's office, that's why I have my faith in God. And I say, God, I'm going in here. I'm strong. I'm going to make it. But my flesh says they don't want to hear nothing else about any other autoimmune situations that I have. I just don't want to hear it, So that's where I'm at. I think Dolores might be back on with her mic because I see someone there in the distance. Dolores, are you there? Well, I guess I see her little circle, but she's having mic problems as it is. So when we go on to the blood test that with Sjogren's, there are 10 important blood tests that show why they're done. And the blood test types result and how they work, common blood test types and what they show. And that's so important. When you do your blood work, make sure you ask those questions. Make sure you ask your doctor, okay, you taking 11 vials of blood from me. This is what they took. What does each of those areas mean? Now, I've had doctors to get on their computers and actually go down the list with each blood, with each vial they had taken. And that was a good thing for me because I could deal with it. But when you're in the dark and you just go in there and say, oh, okay, doctor, I'm going to let you, I'm going to let you just connect with this, and I'm going to let you just take care of my life. You can't do that. Your life is your own. They have their life. You have to be aggressive in the form of what do I do next? Where do I go? Blood tests are important. It's an important way to measure the health in the body, and doctors use them to assess the health of some of your organs, diagnose diseases, and monitor how treatments are working. So that's what's important about blood tests. So if your doctor tells you to go take a blood test you see him in 3 months, and you're not going to take that blood test and you go back in and see him, there's really nothing he can do. Because that's what I just said. It's important because it measures your body and it measures your organs, you diagnose the disease. It's a whole slew of health issues that you need to deal with and that are important for you. So when you go in there and say, okay, doctor, what's going on with my body? What do I need to do? Is there any organ damage? Is there any other issues? Your risk for developing certain diseases such as diabetes. They always hit on that. Do you have diabetes, Calvinia? No, I don't. And heart disease, existing diseases or conditions. The health of your immune system, how treatment is working. You have to ask all those questions. How is the treatment working? How does, in comparison to the blood work, what else is going wrong with me or right with me? What's going right, not wrong, right? Because I have to stay in the positive framework, so that's why with the blood test, a complete blood count, which is called a CBC, is one of the most common blood tests, and it's often part of your routine checkup, and it's called a CBC. And this test measures a wide range of things in your blood, including your red blood cells and white blood cells and platelets. And that is that's something you want to ask them definitely with that. When they say you get a note back and your doctor will write in it, well, your platelets are good. What are you talking about? I don't understand what a platelet is. So that's why you need to educate yourself. The red blood cells, what they are, these carry oxygen around your body. Atypical levels could be a sign of dehydration, anemia, just like Dolores had said earlier, or immune disorder. Let me repeat that again. When we're white blood cells, these are an important part of the immune system. Atypical levels could indicate an infection or immune disorder. The red blood cells, they carry oxygen around your body. Atypical levels could be a sign of dehydration, anemia, or bleeding. Now, the platelets, these are parts of cell fragments that stick together and help your blood form clots. That's very important. You hear the doctor say, I don't want you to have a blood clot. I don't want you to have a blood clot. So atypical levels could be a sign of a bleeding disorder. That's exactly what platelets are. Hemoglobin is part of the red blood cells that carries oxygen. Atypical levels could be a sign of sickle cell anemia, and you need to be aware of that. These are all the areas that, and you could read more on it, that are important. The basic metabolic panel, BMP, that test measures the natural chemical levels of your body. It can tell doctors how some of your organs are functioning, including your heart and kidneys. That's important. The BMP, which is the basic metabolic panel, is usually part of a routine checkup. Your doctor will let you know whether you need to fast before this test. Like I have to fast before the test anyway. The BMP, which is the basic metabolic panel, is actually, it checks the levels of the following substances in your blood: blood urine, nitrogen, which is BUN, creatine, glucose, carbon dioxide, calcium, sodium, potassium. All those atypical levels for these substances could indicate problems in your body, and you need to be aware of that. Kidneys, blood sugars, acid base balance, metabolism, fluid, electrolyte balance. Your doctor will go over your results to help you interpret them and plan the next steps. It's very important for you to go over everything that I just said, because you need to know how your kidneys are functioning. What are your blood levels? You know, what is your acid base balance? You know, look these things up, write them down. So when you go in there to your doctor, you basically will be able to say, look, I'm aware of my body too. I just need to know what I need to do and where do I need to go with this? The doctors can also use thyroid tests to diagnose diseases such as, which Dolores was talking about, but she hadn't got to the hypothyroidism and the Graves' disease, the Hashimoto's, the thyroid nodules, and cancer. And that's what she was saying earlier. And that thyroid, where they examine your nodules on the side of your neck, that's so important, because a nodule on the thyroid is a lesion or growth that is distinct from surrounding thyroid tissue. The thyroid nodules are very common, although most do not cause symptoms, okay? And as a result, people usually do not know that they have nodes on the thyroid. And a clinician may feel thyroid nodules upon examining your neck during the physical exam, and most thyroid nodules are not cancerous. So we got to be aware of that. And somebody will say, and I would say it too, what is a thyroid nodule? They are lumps, okay, they are lumps or lesions in the thyroid gland. You know, this gland sits at the front of the neck, in the lower portion. It has two lobes on either side of the windpipe. Its main function is to regulate metabolism in various organs and tissues. It does this by producing thyroid hormones. That's why we have to I take the medication I take, she takes the medication she takes. The thyroid nodule is an unexpected growth, and it can occur as one of the nodule or multiple nodules. A nodule can be cystic fluid filled with solid tissue. It can be filled with solid tissue, solid tissue filled. So those are the things that you need to be aware of. I mean, it's just so important. It's so important. Let me go on over here, dealing with these computers. Again, like I said, diagnosed management of treatment with Sjogren's syndrome is an autoimmune disease that causes chronic dryness in the eyes, mouth, and other parts of the body. You know, so you definitely have to do a plan with your doctor. Set out a plan with your doctor. Go in there with a journal. Write the things that's been happening to you for the past 3 months, if you see him every 3 months. And it's not nagging him, it's letting him know that you are concerned about your health. And these are the new things that have happened. This is what I had. I have my nutrition, my diet. When I go in, I said, this is what I've been eating. This is my exercise area here. This is how I'm exercising. These are my stress levels for me. You know, I'm about a 9 right now because I'm stressed out. I'm not now, but you know, when I go in there and tell them I'm stressed out. So we all have to be aware of our own path. We all have to be aware of our own path. And it's just so important that you do this, because you're the only one that can take care of yourself. You are the only one that can make it possible that you live. Nobody's responsible for you but you. And that's an important thing to realize. So we're getting ready to close this out. Speaking for Dolores, I appreciate her being here, but she had technical difficulties. I'm getting ready to give you to our executive producer, Edward Peterson. So Ed, take it away.
Thank you, Dr. Lim. This was a great show. I'm super excited for what you shared today. And all you listeners, again, you can always check us out. Visit the website at lupusanevada.org. And you can also fill out information and inquiries in reference to any questions that you may have in reference to how you're dealing with lupus and any questions you may have with for Calvin Williams and Mr. Lois Olson. It's been a great opportunity for us to continue to share this each and every week as we continue on the month of March, as we begin the month of March. We want to continue on to Lupus Lupus World Day. And
In
we
May,
got the month of May, right? And so donations, we're looking for that. If you can donate, that'd be great. You can always go to the website at lupusanevada.org. She is a 501c3 nonprofit organization out of North Las Vegas, Nevada. And we're super excited for all that she does in sharing from the heart what it takes to continue to live with lupus. And with that being said, I want you guys to continue to grow and continue to be blessed. And we'll see you again next week. So bye-bye for now.
Bye. Thank you.